Hello and welcome to Numerous Picks of the Day for Tuesday, June 18th. It is 9 o'clock in the morning here, California time. And let's, as always, start by reviewing yesterday's action. So, kind of a rough day yesterday. So, the Red Sox beat the Blue Jays, so we won our one money line pick. These three totals games were all losses, and they really all were very close to winning. Um, the Giants Cubs, it was 1-0 after 5 innings. It was looking great. It was 6-4 going into the top of the ninth. So if the Cubs had just gotten a scoreless half inning, the game would have been over. But the Giants hit a 3-run home run to win the game 7-6 and crush our under. Rockies, similar story. They were at 9-1 going into the bottom of the ninth with the Dodgers ahead. Rockies had scored one run the entire 8 innings up to that point, and the Dodgers somehow gave up 4 or 5 runs to make it go over. So I think they gave up 4 runs, so it went 9-5, and crushed our under there. So anyway, tough breaks. Net, we were down 1.8 units for the day there, and we're now down 7.35 units for the season on the combined money line and totals. We did not have any spreads picks, so we remain down 1.5 units on that model for the season. Let's go on to the picks for today. So on the money line, here's the full list of games and the probabilities, and the model is telling us to look at 4 home teams. So we've got the Guardians. It's saying take the Guardians if you can get minus 104 with Pinnacle showing 113. Let's take a look. The Guardians, and yeah, actually we're not getting anywhere near 104. It looks like the line might have moved a little bit here. Let's drill in and take a look. Yeah, you can see it's actually moved a bit since this morning when I first ran this. So we won't find a bet there. Actually, I'm going to just pause for a second and rerun these results. Okay, so I just reran. So the probabilities don't change. I'm just comparing it against the most recent odds because I've been away from my computer for an hour or so. So it's giving us now 4 home teams and 1 away team to look at. So it's actually scrambled up a little bit because the odds have moved. So we're going to look at the Blue Jays now. The Blue Jays, it's saying bet them at plus 112 with Pinnacle showing 105. So let's see if we can find the Blue Jays plus 112 on the American League. So Blue Jays plus 109, but not quite to plus 112. So we're not going to find a bet there. Next up, the Cubs. Saying bet them at minus 103 with Pinnacle showing 104. So let's see if we can find something there. Got 104 at Bookmaker, but not quite getting to 103. So not quite finding a bet there. Next up, the Rangers against the Mets. Again, the model seems to hate Luis Severino. It seems to pick against him almost nearly every time. But here it's saying bet the Rangers plus 119 with Pinnacle showing 104. So this is probably a little bit of a stretch, but let's take a look. If we could get the Rangers plus 119. And yeah, we're not getting anything close to that. So no bet there. Finally, the Oakland Athletics hosting the Royals, saying bet the Athletics at plus 113 with Pinnacle showing 114. So it looks like we might find a bet here. Oakland, well, we're getting exactly 113 at several places. Circa, Superbook, and Bookmaker. Looks like that's the best we're going to get. So we'll take that, though. That's just what the model wanted, was 113 to bet. So we'll put that down. Athletics plus 113. And finally, one visiting team is the Phillies. It's saying bet the Phillies if we can get 146. Pinnacle showing 127. So this is probably not going to result in a bet, but let's take a look. Phillies. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I click there? I'm sorry. Once the Padres plus 146 against the Phillies. So let's see if we find the Padres plus 146. And no, we're not getting close to that. Looks like 124 is the best we would get there. So on the money line, looks like we just have the Athletics plus 113. Let's move over to the totals. So here's the full list of games and the totals. And then it's telling us to look at 3 unders. So the first is the Guardians Mariners under 8.5. Wants 110. Probably not going to get that, but let's take a look at the Guardians Mariners is right here. We'll click over to totals. And yeah, we wanted 8.5 under and better than even money. And in fact, everything's gone the other way. It looks like almost everybody's brought the point down to 8. So we're not going to find what we want there. Next up, Phillies Padres under 8.5. If you can get minus 104, 105. Let's see. We got it over here. And yeah, you could find under 8.5 minus 102 here at Bookmaker. So let's do that. Padres, Phillies, minus 102 under 8.5. Under 8.5, minus 102. And then finally the Cubs and the Giants. So yet again, another windy day at Wrigley. So it's, of course, the model has strongly been in favor of these. It worked for us 2 days ago. It did not work so well yesterday, although it was doing great for quite a while. Again, I'm following the model here. I know that the wind makes this not as good a bet as it seems to be here, but I'm going to follow the model and just mark it down as a bet. So let's see what we can get for the under on the Cubs Giants. So it looks like 9.5 under. Our best is minus 115 here at Bookmaker. So let's do that. Giants, Cubs. Minus 115, and it was under 9.5. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 9.5, 9.5. At minus 115. Okay. So that's what we've got for totals. Let's take a look at the spreads. So here again is the full list. And let me scroll down a little bit to give you guys the last few games. And after the filters, the model says, model says to look at 2 home teams. The Cubs, plus 1.5. It says if you can get minus 165 to take it. So let's take a look at that. So again, Cubs here, plus 1.5. Yeah, you can get minus 160. So it's saying to take that. So let's go ahead and do that. It's asking for 165. So on the spreads, we'll take the Cubs. Cubs plus 1.5 minus 160. And next, the Athletics again, plus 1.5. Says take it if you get minus 138. So Athletics plus 1.5, not getting minus 138 then. So it looks like we will just have the one bet on the spreads is the Cubs plus 1.5 minus 160. And then again, we had two unders, the Padres Phillies and the Giants Cubs. And then on the money line, we had the Athletics plus 113. So those are the picks for today. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.